Hello one and all, it's my review of My Hero Academia Chapter 280, Red Riot. And we open up with Mina coming very, very close taking out Giganto, and then just missing at the last second. And to my surprise, there was a lot of criticism about this from people I've seen online complaining that Mina should have won, that she should have had her chance to shine here. But I'm actually very glad they did this. I'm very glad it happened this way, because Mina's show has been a very flat character, very two-dimensional. Always smiling, always happy, always, easygoing person. That's great and all, she's a fun person to have in the class, I have no problem with her being there, but she's never really shown any depth or vulnerability or really anything at all. But here we see, her talking about her fear, the fear of going up against this guy who's basically as strong as All Might, the fear that their teacher Midnight might actually be dead. All this fear is just, almost crippling her, and then she hears the voice of Giganto, the voice from that time way back when, and she remembers it, and I just absolutely love this. In Kirishima's mind, from what he saw, Mina stood up, she managed to convince the monster to go away, and she was brave and fearless. But then, right after that, she basically fell to the ground and started crying with her friends because of how utterly terrified she was. And yes, she was brave here, And what's that old saying? Courage is not the absence of fear, but being willing to act despite of it. Yeah, she was courageous here, but it still took a toll. It still terrified her. And this combined with all the other fear and terror that she's feeling, it caused her to flinch. She didn't have like a full-blown mental breakdown in the battlefield, crying, begging for a mommy or something like that. It just caused her to flinch, to lose focus for the smallest of a second. But that was all it took for her to, lose her grip on the sedative and, really fail the entire mission. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, this weakness, this vulnerability. It gives her a chance to grow, to improve. I am sure there's going to be another fight with Giganto down the road, somehow, some way. And when that happens, Mina is going to stand up. She's going to overcome her fear and become even stronger than she is now. And I'm very excited to see that. But for now, at least, it's Kirishima for the win. He gets to come in and prove himself against the opponent that almost made him give up on being a hero. And, save Mina while he's at it. So hopefully that ship can sail soon. Looking forward to that as well. And seriously though, he ran right through what Tetsu described as hell, this burning forest, to come in and save her. To go be the hero that he always wanted to be. That's so amazingly perfect. It's such a manly moment for him. I love it. And seriously, this next shot of him climbing up Giganto, digging his rock fist into his body to make climbing holes as he darts up him. That is... Oh, I love it. I am Red Riot, and no one behind me is gonna bleed. He is the ultimate shield, defending and protecting his allies. Just so utterly perfect. And while he lost the first vial to Toga's exceptional aim, he still has Mina's. He still has her chivalrous spirit, as he says, which he manages to throw and get into Giganto's mouth. So good for him on that. That's something else I love. They could have just had Mina drop her vial, lose it, break it, whatever. Having him not only save her, but use her own vial in order to take down the big guy is just such a great moment for these two, and I'm so happy about it. And now they have freaking cannons to fire at Giganto. As Momo explains, the more he moves around, the faster the drug should work. Which is great and all, but I feel like he's going to move more running towards Shigaraki than he would ever do fighting all these heroes at once. It feels like it's being more of a defensive pose, blocking their attacks, while, running is full cardiovascular workout that would really get the blood pumping, so maybe not the best strategy, but I guess they have to keep this fight going for a while longer. Plus, they can't let the League of Villains who are on his back escape as well. It's a whole other thing. It is interesting that he apparently moved the stone, bone, plate, whatever you want to call it, on his mouth. So that's now covering his eyes, giving him an extra layer of protection like that. That's very interesting. I'm curious why it is, just so that the enemy can't blind him. Is like his one weakness, or is this something else? Do you have some sort of super bright light attack he's going to use to take out the heroes now? Very curious about that. Also, you just have to point out that Majestic has all these heroes following behind him somehow, some way, using his quirk that makes flying platforms, I guess. I do not remember Majestic from the past, so I'm not entirely sure what his quirk is. But I am not seeing Midnight among the heroes that he's bringing around, which is very concerning. Still know what happened to her. I'm very worried about that. Anyway, then we flash over to Shigaraki, and, Endeavor's giving his whole monologue speech. Tomo Shigaraki, gather up all the power you like, but without ideals, your hollow destruction will never bring us down. That's great and all, but never, what exactly are your ideals? I mean, your whole focus, entire life has just been to be the #1 hero, just to outshine All Might. I don't really recall you ever being like about protecting the people all that much, so not exactly sure you're the one to give that whole speech about ideals. I mean, Deku, heck, maybe even Bako could give a better speech about ideals than he could. And Shigaraki's next line is very interesting. You heroes hurt your own families just to help complete strangers. Dad told me that, which I'm fairly certain he's referring to his, biological father, giving the whole speech about how his grandmother, All Might's teacher, abandoned her family to go play hero and then end up dying. These as heroes, not just putting their own lives at risk, but they're risking, the happiness of their friends and families back home. I'm sure Deku's mother is watching this all in the news right now and having several heart attacks. And don't forget Koda, he lost both his parents because they were out being heroes and they died and left him all alone. That's fairly selfish behavior. Protect the world, but not your own kids, not your own family. Though Endeavor's reaction to this is very, very interesting. He looks shocked almost. And I'm wondering if he's misinterpreting this because let's not forget what Endeavor has done to his family to become the #1 hero. I mean, he bought a woman and impregnated her a whole bunch of times, which, okay, there's so much wrong with that. So very, very much wrong with that. I don't even... And I mean, there is a whole very much wrong with that. But then even beyond that, don't forget, what he did to Shoto and the rest of the kids. He trained, he tortured them to the point where they all hate him more or less. And then there's still, the missing brother, Shoto's missing brother, that we're all right now assuming is Dabi. I think it was said that he died as a result of Endeavor's training exercise. So is that what Endeavor is flashing back to right now? Could that mean that next chapter we're actually going to flashback to his missing son, his lost son, find out what happened with him? I mean, that definitely seemed like a weird time to take a break right now with all the craziness going on, but I think that could really work here, especially if the chapter ends with Tokoyami getting Hawks to medical center somewhere, somehow. I'm sure Recovery Girl's nearby, and then Hawks tells him the truth about who Dabi was. Tell Endeavor, it's his son, or something like that. I think that would be the great time for just to show that flashback, to have that moment that we've all been expecting for so long. Seriously, I'm not sure if the author of this series is aware of just how certain fans are that Dabi is Endeavor's son. He might still think, oh, they're going to be so surprised. It's going to be this big twist. And we've all kind of, just taken it as a given up to this point, but definitely would be cool to have it confirmed. Or, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe he's not actually the missing brother. Maybe he's a completely unrelated kid that Endeavor had before any of the other ones. Or, I don't know. The son of his mistress? All possibilities, but I'm still going with the missing dead child is Dabi. That's still the theory that I'm most certain about right now, but certainly wouldn't mind being proven wrong. Anyway, so a little concerning though, because Shigaraki is surrounded on all sides by smoke. I mean, doesn't Aizawa need, direct vision of him in order to cancel out his quirks? With the smoke, can he still see him? Is this going to mean that he's going to be able to access his quirks again? Activate his, hyperspeed regeneration, heal himself, steal Endeavor's quirk, kill him, something, and then I really don't know what happened after that. Maybe Shigaraki's going to go over to Giganto instead of Giganto coming over to Shigaraki. Very, very hard to say. I'm not really sure about that. A few other things I love about this chapter. The color page with Mina surrounded by her terrifying, toxic slime is so cool. I absolutely love that. Oh god, Kaminari. He's, severely hurt and in a lot of pain. The other student, whatever her name is apologizing for, putting him in danger like that. And he's just like, I get a lap pillow. I'm happy. I'm sure Jiro's going to have something to say about that, but I feel like, that response is a little bit more about him, having fried his brain than anything else right now. I'm guessing Momo created all the giant cannons that they are firing at Giganto. It is actually interesting. Mineta is right behind the one cannon. Could they, apply some of the sticky balls to the cannons when they launch them so they get stuck to him, kind of slow him down, weigh him down, he can't get them off? That'd definitely be interesting, certainly annoying for him. And god, I do just love Momo created this whole fireproof suit for herself and is shielding everyone else. She's definitely leader material. She's definitely one of the most useful people to have no matter what the situation is, because she can always create something that solves most of the problems. But yeah, let me think with all this down below. What are your thoughts on next chapter? Like I said, I think now would be a great time to finally have the Endeavor Lost Son flashback. Just get some more information about him, about what he did to him, how he hurt him, and maybe even how that person became Dobby. I don't expect all that next chapter. I kind of feel like to be like two split ones. Like next chapter with a flashback, even just a few pages, and then it ends with Hawks telling Tokugami, tell Endeavor Dobby is his son, or something like that. And we see maybe the following chapter is a Hawks flashback, the super soldier training program he's been enrolled into the kid. Maybe Dobby was somehow a part of it, either because Endeavor tried to arrange that, or because they helped him fake his own death and then recruited him afterwards. Not sure about that, but yeah. Let me think of all this down below. Also, what do you think about Kirishima's fighting spirit? Love that. Be sure and like and subscribe to his next video. Unfortunately, Shonen Jump is off next week, so next chapter doesn't hit till August 23rd. Bummer there. But until then,
peace.